I don't know if this works or not. If it doesn't work, I may have to give up. But let's see. Let's see. Because it knocked me offline a second ago, and I think what happened was, and once again, it's saying something went wrong. Issue. Refresh the page and try again. If the problem persists, please contact support. So I guess I will. Let me check the phone. It's not working. This is not good for a first time to try this. Okay. Hey guys, so is this working now? Leave me a bunch of comments. Tell me it's working because I on my end it says something went wrong, and I jumped on Amber's phone here to see. No, it shows I'm live. Let's see. Yeah, it shows I am. We'll see. All right. Cool. This is Amber Rose phone. Thank you. All right. I can see and hear you. Thank you, Susie Q. Rocking. Oh, let's put you up there. Boom. Show on the stream. Great. Yeah, it's just kind of crazy. I trying this new software, streaming software. I was interested in StreamYard, and this company called Riverside made a competing product that looked pretty cool. And this is my first time really trying to use it and trying to schedule it, and I'm not sure it's really working out too good. So anyway, let me see if I can set this camera. The one thing I do like is even though my laptop is right here, it can actually use the phone as my camera. So this is actually my phone. Look at that striper shirt. Ow! Yeah, I'm wearing shorts. Sorry. Boom. That's how it is. Sunday. Come on. Anyway, what's going on, anybody? Okay, I'll tell you what then. I'll just say this since I'm not sure a lot of people show up or not. But I'll just say this. And if it cancels and it goes off, I'll just hang it up and figure out how to do this better later. But anyway, I just want to say a couple things. First of all, Mexico City at the end of the month. We're going. Amber and I are both going to be there and doing an 11 song acoustic set with a great guitar player that I have down there that played with me last time, Andres. He's from Chile, but he lives in Mexico City, and we're going to do some stuff. And because it's Mexico City in the Latin American community, and it was a request from the promoter, and so I'm going to do it. I'm going to play mostly stuff from the first Nunca Te Diré Adios record, the Guardian Spanish record that everybody loves down there, which is a little bit more on the mellow side, which is actually okay since it's an acoustic set. But songs like the Sun in Espanol, Como el Sol, and Te veo en el cielo, see you in heaven. We're gonna be doing all that stuff. So, oh look at that! Cheers from Ushuaia, Argentina. Sitting in my kitchen in Columbia, Tennessee, and somebody from the end of the earth is here. I like that. Ushuaia was great. We played there, I think, gosh, was it 2011 with Guardian? And it was pretty great. I just remember it was so cool to be at the end of the earth there. So the largest point you can get to before you get into the South Pole area or something crazy. Anyway, Jason, love the Striper shirt. Yeah, I did too. I've been flexing my Striper fan muscles the last couple of weeks. Just um, really dawned on me what the impact they've had on my life has been and everything. And just I know they're making a new Christmas record right now. They're still being active. It's just really cool, man. It's like you know, Michael's not that much older than me. He was young when he started, and I was like 15, and when Soldiers came out, and just Michael's like maybe 5 or 6 years older than me, and so then 5 or 6 years after that, I met them all for the first time, and then became friends with them, and here we are, 35 years later. They're still making music. I'm making music, and I'm glad to call those guys friends. I'd still put their poster on my wall, just like I did when I was 15. I still did. Yes, I wasn't there yet. Hello, fellow Hoosier. Boom. I am a fellow Hoosier. Hola from Argentina. Hey, man. Argentina. We love Argentina so much. Anyway, so let me get back there. So I'm playing Mexico City, doing that day, and then going to Costa Rica in July. And I think I decided, everybody knows I've kind of tried to concentrate on Calamity Kills, and I wanted it to be its own thing. I didn't want to attach it to any other project. I wanted it to have its own fan base and not just people like Guardian fans like, oh, cool, this is what he's doing now. I wanted it to be its own thing. And I really think we're working to accomplish that. And I think so far, so good. I'm pleased to say that I saw the published weekly chart. We entered the top 50 on Mediabase, in less than a month, which is pretty amazing. So this will be our third charting single in U.S. mainstream active rock radio, and at this point in my life, and I said this in a comment the other day, to be, even though I've been making music for 35 something years, um, I'm considered a legacy artist in a lot of circles, and legacy artists usually don't get an invitation to the party in the modern music biz for new music and whatnot. So it's just like, I really kind of am super stoked that these opportunities have been opened up and everything, and I get to be a part of the music culture of 2025. And I'm not taking any credit away from my past, because if you're watching this, chances are you're watching because you were a Guardian fan, and I'm happy for that. So, hey, if anybody's got any questions, just go ahead and leave it. And then I have a dashboard here. I can actually see them in real time sometimes. So, greetings and blessings from Chile, brother. I listen to KK every day on my way to work. Man, I love that. Truth be told, I listen to Calamity Kills half the time on my way to work too. So, and it's funny, you guys, Afraid has been out for like 3 or 4 weeks. Actually, no, it's 4 weeks. Yeah, it's officially 4 weeks, right? And if you tuned in late, I'm in the kitchen. Amber Rose making dinner right now. What you making? Sausage and peppers, low carb, supreme with some low carb pasta, right? It's gonna be our first time. And she asked me not to put her on camera, but I wish I could because she looks so fine. So that's my brand of woman right over there. So anyway, but it's funny. I was just thinking, guys, we started recording Afraid last fall, and we were actually, I think I sang vocals in November, and then we tracked drums in November with Ray, and then Julie came in and had her part in December. So we've been sitting on it for quite a few months, and Perino did the mix and stuff, and just really, really fine tuned it and everything. So it's new to all of you guys, but I've been hearing it for almost 6 months. So pretty crazy. What do we got here? Let me get a full Electric KK gig. Actually, you know what, Susie Q? We're rehearsing right now. Julie is obviously out with the Deads for like a month, and we've got some stuff planned, and getting the rehearsals down. We're actually going to be ready to go. So that's definitely a priority for us. And actually, you know what? I'm going to play you a second of a rehearsal. It was funny as guys, we rehearsed, we do everything with in-ear monitors. So there's no like live amps or no PA system. And so all you hear is Rob's drums, and then you can hear the camera mic, but I'll see if I can play this real quick. It's a clip I took last week at rehearsal. Let me see if I can. Check this out. We don't there you have it. The ugliness of the live performance and the brutality of in-ear monitors, which are actually so good. It's so easy to sing compared to wedge monitors and everything. And Jared, I wish you could hear Perino's guitar sound. It's amazing. Just really cool. So there we go. John kicks butt. My buddy John Kibble. KK kicks butt. How dare you use such strong language? So new KK album, Josh. You know what? New KK songs for sure. And there will be a new album in the fact that, because being an independent band and releasing independently, the record kind of came out, and we held back physical product for like almost a year just so we could stimulate the streaming numbers. And it was part of our strategy. And the record's been out, and still most people have not heard the Calamity Kills debut record. So more people are every day, which is great. But in September, I believe it's September 9th is release date. We're doing an expanded edition, which will include the original record, plus songs like Afraid, Starry Skies, and a couple other things you have not heard. We're going to flesh that out and put that on there. And I think it's going to be really cool. So look forward to that in September. So there will be official Calamity Kills expanded release coming in September. That'll be on compact disc as well as digital and vinyl. I'm not sure yet because I'm really pleased with our current vinyl lineup. And I'm really old school and like that fan mindset. Like when people have something, I want them to have something that's like limited edition. Like when I first did the Kickstarter, I said, look, this is the only time you're going to get on CD. I wanted to reward those people who got on board and made that CD happen. And I just hate. And so people are like, well, why are you withholding a CD? It's like, I'm not trying to punish you. I'm trying to reward the people who walked with us in the early stage and got us there. So I kind of have that thing. So the people who bought our vinyl, I want you to have a special piece that, look, man, I got it while, the getting was good. So I want you to be able to enjoy that and have that exclusivity. So anyway, any other questions, guys? What else? Anything else? Not that I can see. Oh yeah, there are. You got to play Be My Vincent. Go play with. Contact Dana Strum. I'm just saying. No, man, Dana Strum. I play shit with Slaughter. It's cool. But Susie, I think you know this and stuff. As much as I love, certain bands and stylistically, we're steering Calamity Kills in an active rock thing. So I hate to say this, but I'd be more apt to, because it's not a slam. It's just a matter of positioning and agenda and vision we have for the band. But I would rather play, open for Non-Point than I would Slaughter. And I love Mark Slaughter. I love those guys. But I'm just saying, positioning wise and the visibility of the band and everything, and just kind of, carving our own little lane, that would make more sense. But with that being said, if you want to claim a Kill Striper tour or some dates, I'd be all in. But and ultimately, my ultimate big vision wish list picture, stuff like that, I want to get Kills opening for Korn. Unfortunately, we have been in there with Ray, and I know their management people pretty well. Just been dealing with them and everything, and we'll see. Time will tell. Anyway, anything else here, guys? Oh, there's a bunch of questions. I didn't know that. Jamie has the guitar on fire in KK. Yes, he does. Yeah, Jamie Perino kills it. He's obviously a brilliant guitar player, and people don't realize this. He was Taylor Swift's musical director for 2 years, and he played like 5 years in LeAnn Rimes' touring band. But he also engineered Joey Belladonna from Anthrax's solo record and did some stuff. And he won some sort of guitar contest in Dallas back in the day, and got an Eddie Van Halen limited edition signed Kramer guitar for being the local guitar hero. So it's funny. He has some country music background and everything, and he's making modern rock with Kills. He's just a guitar hero's guitar hero. And what's great is I've always been blessed with people like Palacios, Perino, and even with the Adrian Gale stuff, Eddie Campbell and Vic Rivera. I've always been able to play with good guitar players, and that's always good because I'm not a good guitar player. And I've just been really blessed and fortunate to be able to play with people who do things that I cannot do and never could do, and bring their talents to the mix. But yeah, it's funny. If you guys saw that clip earlier this week from Cornerstone in '91, I was just kind of marveling at how Tony Palacios, just how effortlessly he plays that stuff. And because that stuff's not easy, man. Those are very complicated, blues based, but hard rock guitar solos, but they're not easy. Otherwise, you'd hear a lot of people doing them, and you don't. He reminds me of Warren DeMartini, who I've actually had the pleasure of playing with once, and just got that vibe. I love that. So, nice, like the Bond Expanded Edition. Okay, I love that. Love that, Scott. Yeah, it'll be coming out, and again, I don't want to be throwing stuff out there. It's like, oh, we've already got this. I want to make sure it's special. It's something that's worthy of your time and worthy of your money and whatnot. Because let's face it, guys, I went to the grocery store this week. Prices are pretty high, man. So spend your money wisely. And I want to make sure that if you spend money on a KK product of any kind, whether it be CD, T-shirt, anything like that, make sure it's good quality. So I want to do that. So something I can be proud of, because ultimately I'm a fan. I'm in this band, but I'm a fan of Calamity Kills. So when we bring stuff forward, I always think with a fan mindset, what would I want? And usually I get what I want in this realm, which is kind of nice. Do I get what I want, sweet? Do I get what I want? Pretty much, yeah. Okay. I want you to come here on this. No, you won't. No. She doesn't want to be seen on camera right now. So she have what? Allergy eyes. She has allergy eyes. I've had allergy eyes all week, but not too bad right now. But I will respect my wife's decision, even though I love to put her on camera all the time. Plus, she's wearing a tank top that I quite like. Just saying. I'm married. We're married. All right. What else we got here? Do you remember your metal song, fairies. You didn't see that. Actually, I don't. I actually don't remember that, John. Kibble. I'm sure. I'm sure. Let me put that up here so people know what we're talking about. I don't know. I don't remember that, but it does sound like something I would have done. Good morning from the Philippines. Check this out, baby. Somebody, Charlie. Good mornings from the Philippines. 5:20 a.m. Monday here. Love Guardian. That's pretty amazing. Gonzalo, do you have the green Epiphone you played in Chile in '99? All right, this is a sad story. No, I don't, Gonzalo. I had that green Epiphone Les Paul. And here's the thing. We had a deal with Epiphone in the late 90s, mid 90s, late 90s. And what was cool is that, they were really kind to us and generous and supported us. But what people didn't realize is we would get Epiphone guitars and they would say Epiphone, but we had them stocked with Gibson parts. So really kind of, to be fair, we were playing Gibson guitars with Epiphone logos. And we had an in there at the custom shop. And, I'm, old school glam rocker, and I still wanted my poison green guitar. So that was a finish. It was a green metal flake finish that they did not offer. I was the only one. And sadly, I love that guitar. Sadly, guys, as you guys know, the band kind of ended around 99 where we weren't consistent all the time. And I basically lost, overnight my entire income and livelihood. So I went for a few years there just kind of scraping and trying to reinvent my life and restart my life and everything. And so I had to sell the guitar. And I think I know who bought it. And I think they sold it to someone else because a couple of years ago I got an email from somebody in Texas that had it and they wanted to know the history behind it because they had never seen that finish. And I emailed them back and let them know. But that's the sad reality of it all, guys, is people like to think we were all big, rich rock stars or something. We weren't. And just like anybody else, if your job ends and you don't have any income coming in, it can be pretty brutal. And for me, I started in Guardian when I was 20 years old. For the next decade, I did nothing but Guardian. So when it stopped, I didn't have anything to fall back on, or I didn't know what else to do. The music scene had changed so much that it was, I just thought I'd just bounce right into a solo deal, and it's just not how it works, man. It's like, you would think your 10 years of, success would parlay into more success, but actually because Christian music at the time, I don't know how it is these days, I don't pay attention, but at the time it was so youth group focused that if you weren't like, 22 years old and playing, whatever kind of music, that's what they wanted, because that was it was all designed for the youth group crowd. And if you're playing hard rock as a 29 and 30-year-old, it's not necessarily what they want. And I get it. It's business. It's all business. And I'm going to tell you guys something. I'm going to be blunt. I think everybody kind of knows I'm kind of, I don't really pay attention to Christian music much these days or whatever. And as disgusted as I am with the business, I've come to realize after being in the music business on the general music side is just, I'm kind of disgusted with all of it, man. It's just like, it all comes down to money. And, and there's certain cliques and stuff. There's certain mean girls, cafeteria tables that you kind of are encouraged to sit at. And if you don't get there, anyway, that's a long rant, but it's just crazy. I'm just telling you guys, it's, Christian music industry, the mainstream music industry, it all comes at the end of the day. It comes down to dollars. And that's why, if you buy a record, from a Christian artist, I'm trying to think who. So if you buy a Newsboys record, it's through Universal Music. That's the parent company. So if you buy a, Rob Zombie record, I'm not sure if he's on Universal anymore. I can't think who's on Universal. Like if you buy a Sleep Token record, a Ghost record or anything, it still goes back to the same pot of money because all the Christian companies are now owned by mainstream companies. So anyway, that's my rant. Let me look at some questions, see if I got anything. Boom, boom, boom. So was Gene right when he said you rolled? Actually, what's funny? Gene was right at the time, because that's right, because that was in 2003. And at that time in the music industry, if you were over 25 years old as a new artist, you weren't getting any deal as a new artist. It wasn't going to happen. Now things have changed so much that you could be 75 years old. And if they think they can make money off of you, they're going to give you a shot. And here I am proof. I guess I'm 55. I'm 55 with my first, top 40 active rock song in my life. 2 months ago. And if you're tuning in late, we're at number 50 on Mediabase this week, and that's less than 4 weeks. It's the fastest growing single we've had, and it looks, and well, technically it's on the chart. We pay more attention to the charts when you get in the top 40, but the top 50 is still published to all the music industry, everything. So we're in the game, man. 4 weeks in, third charting single. It's pretty crazy. And yeah, I'm thankful for all of it. So Years ago. Okay, Marty, this is good. Show on stream. Years ago, there was a rumor that Rat asked you to be their vocalist. You turned down a position. Any truth to that? Thanks for doing live. Hey, Marty, you're not that far from me either. I think you're here in Tennessee. Um, yeah, that's a true story, guys. Here's here's the fact. If you guys know Kerry Kelly, who's a guitar player, he plays in Night Ranger, and he's been there for like almost 10 years, I think now. But Kerry was in Rat at the time, and he was actually a friend of mine from Los Angeles, and we would talk and everything. And he had a band called Big Bang Babies, and I used to come in the studio and sing background vocals on their earlier tapes and stuff that they've made, their demos. And some of the stuff ended up on CD. It's pretty cool, but they were a cool little LA glam band. And I knew him from Brent Jeffers, who was Stryper's keyboard player. He was producing their record and brought me in to sing backgrounds. And Kerry and I just hit it off, and here we are, decades later, we're still buds. And he actually had me come to a Night Ranger show a few months ago in Evansville, and it was cool, really cool to see him. And he's doing well. But yeah, so anyway, he was in Rat at the time, said, hey man, we've got this tour or something booked, and Piercy just had a disagreement. I'm trying to see if I remember this right, and I don't want to tell stories that's not true or speculative or anything, but he left the band and they still had dates booked, and they said, we're looking for a singer. And he goes, I don't know if you're interested, but if you are, the auditions are this Friday. And this was like Tuesday. And so I still had a bunch of frequent flyer miles saved up. So I was able to get a flight with no problem. And yeah, I flew out, and kind of a whirlwind, went in, got there. And it was cool as I overnighted the Miracle Miles CD to him and everything. And I remember Robbie Crane, who was playing bass at the time, like I checked my FedEx tracking and see if they got the CD, and they did. And like within 10 minutes, Crane calls back, says, hey, so you can get out here? And he goes, yeah, we heard your CD. He goes, we think you might be the guy. And so I went out encouraged. And so I flew out there on a Friday, and literally the flight was delayed. And I got there and went right into rehearsal. Didn't have time to change clothes or anything like that. I still looked like, Midwest guy traveling on a plane. And went in, and the guys were set up at a rehearsal, and we played 5 songs. And I'm going to tell you guys, Rat sounded pretty great that night. And I was in heaven because I was playing with Warren DeMartini. And I kind of went away with the impression like, okay, this looks like it might be my gig, man. But even before we got to that point, like literally like 2 days later, and guys, I'm just going to be honest. I can say this 20 years later, man. I just, I wasn't my authentic self when I was in that scene and stuff. And I was kind of a little bit mesmerized by the whole mainstream rock thing. And I just realized I wouldn't be me. And then I remember going back to Kerry's and watching a video of Rat the year before, and Piercy, just his stage banter and everything. I was sitting there thinking, that's not what people are going to get from me. And I'm just not that type of person, man. And so I remember calling and say, hey man, I got home and I don't think this is for me. And he's like, what? And then he called Warren and said, does he want to see what's happened and want to come out again, just see what happened? He's like, no, man. And it's funny. I sometimes think about that. Would it have been cool to have done that gig? Yeah, it would have been, but I wasn't in a stable position at that point in my life. And the whole gain the world, lose your soul. That would have been me, just being honest. But yeah, I played with Rat for 5 songs, and they sounded fantastic. I dare say that's the best Rat ever sounded. I don't know. All right, let's look here. Let me catch up. Do you guys stay in touch with the guys from Guardian? JD. Yes, I sure do. I actually, I haven't talked to Dave in a while, obviously, and you guys probably know he had a pretty public meltdown last fall, and I'm sure I will eventually, stuff like that. But I talk to Carl fairly often, and I just talked to Tony like 4 days ago. We were thinking about trying to. I actually hit him up to see if he wanted to have lunch, and he's wrote back, man, I'd love to have lunch with you, but I'm in Houston with Danny Goki. So yeah, we stay in touch. And like I said, Tony and I are going to do lunch again soon. And Carl lives in what's that city called? Tahoe, Lake Tahoe, California. So he's not local to me anymore, but yeah, we still stay in touch. But yeah, that's that. And maybe one day I'll do a live stream, and I'll get Carl on or Tony on and stuff like that. We can answer some questions. I think people would like that. So loved your voice 6 years ago. It sounded youth. Yeah. Don't forget Christopher Lee had a death metal album at 75. Let's put that up there. True story. Oh man. What was it like, Yellow and Black Attack? I haven't heard a better tribute than that. Gonzalo, what's cool? The Yellow and Black Attack album that Guardian did was we had re-signed our record label, and in that contract there was a budget for a live recording. And instead of going and getting a live truck and recording one show, That was when digital recording technology had just kind of started with the DAT machines. And so we realized for the budget they were offering for to record one show, we could buy all that stuff and record every show. And so we got that approved. And so instead of doing a live record as part of the deal, they gave us the budget to basically have a portable studio. And we ended up, we recorded some shows, and it's just hard to record live, consistently like that. Probably easier now these days with technology, but we set up in an office space and set the studio up. And Tony was getting his feet wet as an engineer and mixing and producer, which is what he does today. He's a live engineer for Danny Gokey and has been for almost 10 years. That's how he makes a living. That's what he does for a living. But we got the stuff set up and said, okay, what do we need to record something. This is test the thing out. And I said, let's do a Stryper song. And then that quickly became there's only 6 songs on the first EP. We should just do a tribute EP and record all 6 of them. And so we did. And it was fun. We did those in Franklin, Tennessee, and it was pretty quick and it was cool. And actually, I really like that record. I mean, I love the original Stryper record, and we weren't trying to top it. We were just having fun with it. So, but I can listen to "You Won't Be Lonely Anymore," our version of it, and that sounds pretty good to me. So, and my first Stryper song live I ever heard was "Come on Rock" when I saw them when I was 15 in Louisville, Kentucky, when they came out. And so I always have that embedded in my brain. When I hear that song, I think of that first show I saw. So yeah, been so cool to support you singer. Maybe. Why do established artists use record labels these days? Why do established artists use record labels these days? Man, I'm telling you what, guys, because there's a lot of work involved. And the one thing is, like with Calamity Kills, we have a radio promoter and we just retained a new publicist. But beyond that, everything falls on us, either myself or Jamie Perrineau, between the two of us. And guys, it's a lot of work, man. You need a team. That whole phrase, "it takes a village." It's really true. And the thing about a record label is to basically sign your life away, which works out for some people. And you're going to get, in their thing, if they don't promote you, then they failed. If I don't have a label and it's just me, if I don't promote me, I failed. So anyway, you get a publicist, you get radio, you get media, you get marketing, you get influence. I'm telling you what, guys, so I say, it's still amazing that we get played on the radio. And because if you're an independent artist, this. Go try to bring your CD or your music to your local hard rock active rock station that reports like Billboard stuff, and see how far you get. It just doesn't happen. There's this whole thing of access, and it's an invitation only thing. Right or wrong, it really is. And I'm going to tell you guys something. We spend money on radio promotion. It's just part of our marketing that we do. And you can't buy a hit, but I will tell you for a fact that a hit is going to cost you money. That's just how it is. And, because you're competing. I remember when we did the either Starry Skies or Chemistry. I can't remember which one was out, and trying to get played. And, and we're competing for the same 3 or 4 minutes of airspace that Disturbed is. And Disturbed were flying contest winners into a private show, all expenses paid. And, and the radio stations were pumping that. So they were obviously play their music more. So we can't compete with that, so, but radio won't play music they don't like. No matter how good your radio promotion is, if they don't like your music, they're not going to play it. It's just how it is. So, but radio is still, for us, the Billboard charting stuff and everything, as far as like industry presence, most bands that are on the chart know who we are now. So it's been a nice visibility thing. People know, after the last single went into the top 30, it's helped this new single it's like a snowball effect. And, hopefully I would love to get a top 20 out of Afraid. I think it's entirely possible. So, but just there's a lot of heavy competitions. And I don't know if you realize this, but in Nashville, especially, even most active rock stations now, you're also competing with songs from 20, 30 years ago. The other night I was looking at hearing the Buzz, and they played us, and they played Nirvana before us, and they played Stone Temple Pilots a couple songs after us and everything. So we're still competing for those same 3 or 4 minute spots of airspace with every other modern band that's releasing music to radio, as well as, Soundgarden, Metallica, everything from, 30 years ago that still is kind of radio's bread and butter, because it's safe for advertisers. I don't know. whatever. I could go off a rant on that. Let me see if there's any other questions. Tony's a legend. Boo, boo, boo. My little fun fact: when I started band, model my voice. Oh, dude, that's so cool. I appreciate that, man. That's pretty cool. You deserve it. Oh, dude, holy cow! I'm not gonna put that up here, but this is. I got to show you this comment. Somebody said you deserve to get your blank sucked today, sir. That actually happened. So that's. Oh man, I'm sorry I repeated that, but somebody's just trying to get a rise, and it's just, you know what? I can hang. But anything else going on, guys? We've been on here for, it says 30 minutes, so I'll probably wrap up soon. Probably wrap up some soon. And I still got Amber's phone here, so I can tell that it's actually going. So that is that. Okay, for anybody showing up late, I'll go back again. Hey, Carlos, I'm gonna put you up here. Boom. Hey, Carlos. Sorry I won't see you in Mexico City, but I'm sure I'll see you again soon. All right, guys, this has actually been cool, and this has been a great way to get my feet wet. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, I'm going to start planning these, and I'm also going to start inviting guests, like other artists that are friends of mine. I'm going to put them on here and just make it like an event. I'd really like to actually grow into something that people, because I love doing the motivation videos where I'm trying to encourage people with messages I need to hear myself as often as I can. I'd like to get where I'm doing a show like this, where it's just interviewing, just, you know, like maybe, you know, just talking with my friends that are also musicians and stuff, and let you eavesdrop on the conversation and drop in your comments, ask questions along the way. Just make it like just an hour of, like, you know, unscripted, entertaining, you know, telling stories, just relating, just being real with people. But anyway, all right, I'm going to bounce off here. Sweet, do you got anything to add?
No, just everybody have a good afternoon.
Amber Rose says, everybody have a great afternoon. And that's not a suggestion, that's an order. So anyway, I'm gonna grab my phone here, and there's my guitar over there in the corner. I wrote everything from Toby Mac's Extreme Days to almost all of the Calamity Kills record on that guitar right there. Let me get it where it focuses in. It was a gift from Epiphone, and it's been through it. But that is it. That's my main writing guitar. So anyway, I'm gonna jump off here. Thank you guys for tuning in. And I know this is last minute and impromptu, so thanks for giving me your time, the time of your day. And man, I feel like I need to say something important just to close with. And a continuation, guys. I always use the phrase "God's got you," and I'm going to tell you that for a fact. I really believe that, because I'm telling you, in my life, you know, my life has never just been a straight upward, you know, this way, you know. It's always been lots of valleys, mountaintops, but God has consistently stayed the same through the whole thing. And I'm very aware of that. I'm very gracefully minded these days, because I know the grace that has been given to me by God. And so I want to look at every person I meet as they are a person who are made in the image of God, and they matter. And I've really tried to make it a point to let people know, for what it's worth, from my opinion, that they matter and that God's got them. God, I mean, I'm a dad. I love my kids. I do anything for my kids. I absolutely love them. God loves his kids too. And you're one of his kids. I've never met someone who's not. So anyway, have a great day. Thanks for hanging out with me on Sunday. And just know this, God's got you. Holla.